Most brands think they know what's working. They'll tell you this campaign is crushing it, Meta is our best channel, this creative is the winner, and they'll say it with confidence. But the problem? They're usually wrong. Not because they're inexperienced, not because they're not looking at data, but because the data they're looking at is incomplete, and sometimes straight up misleading. And when you make decisions off bad interpretation, you don't just slow growth, you actively break things that were working. Today I want to walk through why this happens and how to actually understand what's driving your growth. I'm Aaron, co-founder of 3 Beacon Marketing. We work with brands where things are working on the surface, but decisions are being made off bad signals underneath. And this is one of the biggest issues we fix. Let's start with something simple. Every brand has winners. Winning ads, winning campaigns, winning channels. You log into Meta or Google and you see this campaign has the highest ROAS. So naturally you think that's what's driving the growth and you scale it. But here's the problem. That metric only tells you what got credit, not what actually caused the sale. Those are two very different things. For example, someone sees your ad on Meta, but they don't click. Later, they Google your brand, click a branded search ad, and buy. So what gets credit in this scenario? Google. But what actually created the demand in the first place? Meta. So now what does the brand do? They say, oh, Google is crushing, Meta is underperforming, and they start shifting budget. And slowly, they kill the thing that was actually working to be. That's how you break growth while thinking you're optimized. You need to understand this at a core level. Attribution is not truth. It's a model, and there's many different models, and every model has limitations. There's platform attribution that wants to take credit for everything, has visibility gaps, and operates in a silo of itself. Meta doesn't see everything Google does. Google doesn't see everything Meta does. Neither sees word of mouth, organic exposure, brand recall. So what ends up happening? You're looking at fragmented pieces and trying to make whole decisions. It's like trying to understand a business, but only looking at one department and then saying, this is the most important part. No, it's just the part you can see and are looking at right now. Here's where this really breaks down. Channels don't operate independently. They stack, they overlap, they influence each other, they have a halo effect on one another. Meta creates demand, Google captures it, email converts it, SMS reinforces it, and they all swap roles in between. And instead of seeing it as a system, a full ecosystem, most brands try to isolate everything individually. What's Meta doing? What's Google doing? What's email doing? That's the wrong question. The right question is, how are these working together to create revenue? Because when you isolate channels, that's when misattribution starts happening. You scale the wrong things, you cut the wrong things, you double down in the wrong places, and now your entire system that was working becomes unstable. This is where founders start saying things like, scaling isn't working like it used to. What's actually happening? You're making decisions based on bad interpretation and data. You kill top of funnel too early, overinvest in bottom of funnel, optimize for last click, ignore demand creation, and then what happens? Demand shrinks, conversion gets harder, and cost rises. And now you're chasing performance instead of actually driving it. And what's the worst part? You think you're making data-driven decisions. You think you're doing the right thing, but you're just reacting to incomplete signals. Brands that actually understand what's working do a few things different. They look at blended performance first, not channel, not campaign. They start with what's the total revenue, total spend, blended CAC, and blended ROAS, because that tells you if the system is actually working. Then they go deeper. They use channels as levers, not the truth. They don't say Meta is winning. They say, what role is Meta playing? Demand creation, retargeting, scaling volume, same for Google, same for email, same for SMS. They understand function and not just the performance they see on the surface. They track behavior, not just the transactions. And this is where it separates. They look at repeat purchase behavior, time between purchases, cross-category buying, customer cohorts, lifetime value, because this all tells you what kind of customer are we actually acquiring. And that matters way more than what campaign got this individual sale. They don't overreact to short-term changes. Most brands see a dip, sometimes even on a daily basis, and they panic that the sky is falling. Others, the opposite, see a spike and then they overscale and start jacking budgets up. Smart brands pause, they zoom out, they understand lag, overlap, and noise. And they don't break systems based on 3 days of data. So here's the blunt truth. Most brands don't have a performance problem. They have an interpretation problem. They're looking at the wrong metrics, at the wrong time, and the wrong context, and making decisions with confidence based on this. That's the most dangerous part. Because when you're wrong and unsure, you move slower. But when you're wrong and confident, you break things faster. So if you feel like things are working but inconsistent, scaling is creating volatility, and performance changes don't make sense, there's a good chance you don't actually know what's driving your true growth. But the good news is that's fixable. We do this all the time. We break down your channels, your attribution, and your decision making, and show you what's real and what's white noise. So if you want clarity, book a strategy call. The link's in the description. And if this made you rethink how you look at performance, send it to another founder. Because most brands aren't guessing, they're just confidently wrong.